So NBA free agency is over, and I am going to be reviewing it today. I am going to be going over every notable free agent signing, but this isn't every single signing. This is all the teams that sign with a new team, that left their old team to sign a new one. I did make a video where I went over all the re-signs. I'll put a link in the description. Go check that out. But yeah, in this episode, it is just going to be just teams that signed somewhere else, and I'm gonna give my opinion on, was it a good thing? Did they overpay? Did they underpay? Is that good? And yeah, so let's get right into it. The first notable new signing is Kyle Lowry with the Miami Heat. Now, if you're a Raptors fan, you know how sad this is. Lowry is undoubtedly the greatest Raptor of all time, and it's sad to see him go after 9 seasons. But most of you guys probably aren't Raptors fans. Maybe a lot of you are, but some aren't, so I'm not going to go over how sad it was. Kyle Lowry signs a 3-year deal with the Heat for 3 years, $85 million. The Raptors did get something out of it. They got Achua and Dragic, but for the most part, Lowry agreed to sign there. Now, this is pretty good for Miami. They already have a lot of guards, though, which is why I kind of question it. They have Hero, Robinson, Oladipo, and now Lowry, But I mean, still, you get Kyle Lowry. He's a great playmaker, great facilitator, and I like this signing a lot for the Miami Heat. $85 million a year, that is not a lot of money for a guy of Lowry's caliber. I like this signing a lot. PJ Tucker will also be joining the Miami Heat next year for 2 years, $15 million. That's $7.5 million a year. Now, I like this signing a lot for Miami. You're getting a raw defender, and he can shoot the 3-ball bit. He's kind of lost that skill over the years, but he's still average at it. Mainly, he's a defender. I like this signing for the Heat. I don't know why PJ Tucker would leave the Bucks, though. They just won the title, and it doesn't make sense to leave. You can get another easy ring next year, potentially. But the actual signing, 2 years, $15 million, is good. He'll provide defense. Even though he is undersized, he will still provide defense for the Heat, and I like this a lot. This is probably one of the best signings this offseason. All in all, this wasn't a very good free agency class, with Kawhi re-signing and Giannis signing that extension in the middle of the season. But this is probably one of the best signings that happened. Lonzo Ball will be joining the Chicago Bulls on a 4-year, $85 million deal, which is about $21 million a year. I love the signing for the Chicago Bulls. They had a bit of cap, so they put it on good measures. I like this signing. Lonzo's going to provide facilitating, the playmaking. He's going to be the facilitator and playmake. I made a video about the Chicago Bulls with all of their new signings. And yeah, Lonzo Ball was the perfect point guard for the Bulls. They literally couldn't have gotten any better. Maybe Chris Paul, but they couldn't have gotten any better realistically. And this is probably one of the best signings in terms of their fit. Devontae Graham signs a 4-year, $47 million deal with the New Orleans Pelicans, which is just under $12 million a year. I like this signing a lot for the Pelicans. They lost Lonzo Ball in free agency, as everyone knows, and in return they get Devontae Graham, who's an underrated pickup. He was amazing last season, the season before, where he averaged 18 points a game, and this year he played a little bit below average, but now in New Orleans he's going to have a starting role because he's behind LaMelo, but now he's going to have a starting role in New Orleans. He's actually a very underrated playmaker. He's a very shifty and crafty point guard that can get to the rim, and he can shoot the 3-ball lights out. A steal for the Pelicans. Evan Fournier signs a 4-year, $78 million deal with the New York Knicks, which is $19.5 million a year. This is a good signing too. It's not one of my favorites, but it's still a good signing. I can respect it. The Knicks had a lot of cap coming into free agency, so they signed Evan Fournier for $19.5 million a year. Evan Fournier is kind of just like a natural scorer. He's really good scoring wise, but the rest of his game isn't very good. Still, he can be the starting shooting guard or small forward for the Knicks, or even just be a 6th man like he was in Boston. It's an okay signing for the Knicks. I think they could use their cap a little bit better, but I mean, it's not terrible. JaVale McGee signs a 1-year deal with the Phoenix Suns worth $5 million. I cannot complain about this signing. Honestly, it's completely fine. The Suns get a backup center that's more defensive-minded. Their backup center was Dario Saric, but now they have a way better interior defender who's going to get you blocks, going to play great backup minutes, and only $5 million. This is a great piece for the Phoenix Suns to continue being in contention next year. Dwight Howard signs a one-year deal with the Los Angeles Lakers. At the moment, as I'm recording this, I'm not sure the exact amount, but if I do end up figuring out while I'm editing it, you'll see it on the screen right now. But I can't complain about this signing. Assuming it's a minimum deal, they pay nothing for Dwight, and he's going to provide backup center minutes for the Los Angeles Lakers and provide defense and depth, two things the Lakers really need. I like this signing because it's a minimum deal. You can't complain. Cody Zeller will be joining the Blazers on a one-year deal. Exactly like Dwight Howard. I'm not sure the exact amount, but I'll put it up right now if I end up finding it out. A lot of these signings, actually, now that I'm looking at it, I'm not sure the exact amount. I apologize if I don't know an amount, but I know the teams they went to. Cody Zeller, one-year deal for the Blazers. Like JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard, he's just going to provide backup center minutes. And Cody Zeller's a pretty good finisher. And Portland could really use a guy like him after losing Hassan Whiteside. And they lost Enes Kanter this offseason. Cody Zeller's just going to be his replacement. We're going to see how that works out. Alex Caruso signs a 4-year, $37 million deal with the Chicago Bulls, just under $10 million a year. Honestly, I like this signing for the Bulls a lot. The Bulls, they're not super deep, but they're not very shallow. They have a little bit of depth, and by signing Alex Caruso, they really improve on their bench game. And honestly, he's just going to provide that spark off the bench. And honestly, it's a good signing for the Bulls. I mean, $10 million for Caruso is all memes aside, he might be a bit of an overpay, but it's not the end of the world. Kelly Olynyk signs with the Detroit Pistons for 3 years, $37 million. That is $12 million a year. Honestly, this is an okay signing. $12 million for a guy like Kelly Olynyk. We've seen how he played in Houston. He played pretty good in Houston. And the Pistons are just going to get a little deeper with Kelly Olynyk. Olynyk will provide spacing, being that stretch four, even if he comes off the bench. It's a pretty good signing. Daniel Tice signs a 4-year, $36 million deal worth $9 million a year to the Houston Rockets. I like this signing. The Rockets lost Kelly Olynyk. He signed with the Pistons. And in return, they got Daniel Tice, who I wouldn't say they're similar. Kelly Olynyk is probably a better overall player. He's especially better on the offensive end. But Daniel Tice still might provide a bit of defense. I don't know much about Daniel Tice. I'm just going to say this is a good signing. $9 million in replacement for Kelly Olynyk. Otto Porter will be joining the Golden State Warriors on a 1-year veterans minimum deal. So basically, because he's a veteran, he just gets like a minimum deal. I like this signing for the Warriors. The Warriors, before Otto Porter, were already a deep team. And now they acquired Otto Porter for just some shooting and overall just productivity off the bench. And a minimum deal, so even if he's injured, they're not worrying about losing so much money like they would have if they got Otto Porter on his last contract, which was like $27 million. But yeah, I like this sign for the Warriors because you can't go wrong with a minimum deal, especially a veterans minimum, just to help with the bench a little bit. Andre Drummond is joining the 76ers on a 1-year deal. I don't know the amount, so I'll put it up on the screen if I end up finding out while I'm editing it. He signs with the 76ers. Honestly, I like this signing a lot. If the NBA didn't come out with the amount, I assume it must have been for a small amount. And with Drummond, you're getting a great rebounder, a great just defender overall. And to be a sixth man for the 76ers, they lost Dwight Howard and they get him. The chemistry might be pretty disturbed. Not disturbed, but it won't be good because Embiid and Drummond have had beef in the past. But in terms of skill-wise and looking at it on paper, this is a good signing. Rudy Gay signs a 2-year, $12 million deal with the Utah Jazz, which is $6 million. I like the signing for the Jazz. They get a starter. I'm not sure if he'll start over Bogdanovic, but nonetheless, he'll provide spacing whether he's on the bench or starting. And overall, he'll get you buckets when you need it. He'll be like a third or fourth option. And I can definitely see him in Utah averaging 10, 12 points a game. As for the $6 million, it's fine. The Jazz get deeper and look better next year. The Utah Jazz will also be getting Hassan Whiteside. to join them on a 1-year deal. I like this signing a lot for the Jazz. He's going to provide quality backup center minutes, and we know how good of a shot blocker Hassan Whiteside is. I really like this signing. The Jazz really just get deeper, and I would say they did really good this offseason. Even just getting Eric Paschall in that signing trade, they're looking really good next year. And Hassan Whiteside, I don't know the exact amount, so I'm assuming it's a small amount, and it's pretty good. Everyone says Hassan Whiteside's washed, but honestly, he is just a great defender, and that's all he has to do. The Los Angeles Lakers will be bringing in Carmelo Anthony to a 1-year deal. Now, I didn't really get to talk about this trade a lot, the Westbrook trade, but basically acquiring Westbrook, they lost depth, whatever you call it, and they had terrible shooting with that big three alone. This free agency, they did really good. They picked up so many guys like Wayne Ellington, Carmelo Anthony, Kendrick Nunn, Malik Monk, Trevor Ariza. So that depth is complete. And by getting Carmelo Anthony, they get a great player that will space the floor. And now you can't always go double-team Westbrook or LeBron AD or whoever has the ball, because now they can kick it out to the open Carmelo Anthony. And this really helps the Lakers a lot. He gets veteran talent even though they're all kind of old, and I just like the signing. Kendrick Nunn will also be joining the Lakers, 2 years, $10 million. Again, I like this signing. You get a young point guard that will run the show off the bench. And for $5 million, the Miami Heat did a great job finding this gem. He was a diamond in the rough in 2019, I think. And yeah, he was undrafted. The Miami Heat got him. He really developed there, becoming great. And now he's on the Lakers, going to provide bench talent. And yeah, I like this signing, $5 million. Malik Monk will also be joining the Los Angeles Lakers. Oh my god. I don't know the exact years or cash amount, but the point is they get another young player that developed pretty well in Charlotte. He was mostly coming off the bench, but I mean, he's a great finisher, very athletic, and now joining the Lakers to come off the bench, I feel like that's a pretty good role for him. Justice Winslow signs a 2-year deal with the Los Angeles Clippers. I like this signing for the Clippers because there's nothing really to complain about with these small veteran signings. I mean, just getting Winslow, you're adding veteran presence. And honestly, there's nothing really to complain about it. It's not like he's getting a lot of money. He'll just provide depth, or he might not even play. But nonetheless, it's fine. Kelly Oubre signs a 2-year, $26 million deal with the Charlotte Hornets, which is $13 million a year. This is probably one of the bigger signings, I guess. There weren't many good signings this free agency overall, like signings with new teams. But yeah, Kelly Oubre, $13 million a year to the Hornets. He'll probably be off the bench on the top of my head because they have Gordon Hayward, Terry Rozier. Yeah, he'll probably be off the bench, but nonetheless, I don't even know if he'll provide shooting anymore. He had a terrible shooting year this year. But I think he'll just be good off the bench to be maybe a 7th or 8th guy, just to, bring that spark. He'll get, a posterizer, and he'll give the team momentum. Andre Iguodala will be joining the Warriors once again, 1-year minimum deal. So the Golden State Warriors are the hottest talk show in town. They're looking really good next year, getting Klay Thompson back, getting 2 great rookies in Kuminga and Moses Moody, and overall just getting deeper and better. Obviously, the return of Klay Thompson. And I think Andre Iguodala, I doubt he'll even play. I mean, he might because he was there before. Minimum deal, I think it's just to get there, maybe play a game here and there, and just win a ring, honestly, for Iguodala. I think at this point in Iguodala's career, he's going ring chasing. He couldn't do it with Miami. And I think now he's just going to start ring chasing, and this is his first stop. Enes Kanter signs a 1-year deal with Boston once again. And by once again, I mean he started his career in Oklahoma, and then he went to Portland, then he went to Boston, back to Portland this year, and now he's back on Boston. He really doesn't want to leave the two cities. But nonetheless, the Celtics did lose Tristan Thompson. The Celtics are looking really good next year, and people don't see it. They have Schroeder, Josh Richardson. Obviously, they have Tatum and Brown. They also have Robert Williams. And adding Enes Kanter kind of just to replace Tristan Thompson, I'm not sure who I would take overall. I would say Tristan Thompson is maybe a bit better, but that's debatable. But it's still a pretty good backup center option. Dennis Schroeder will also be joining the Boston Celtics on a 1-year, $6 million deal. Well, 5.9, but $6 million. And this is kind of really funny. I'm sure everyone knows this. Dennis Schroeder got offered an $84 million extension to the Lakers in the middle of the season, and he declined that because he wanted more money in free agency. He wanted $120 million. And nobody even wanted to pay him at nothing that close because of how poor he played in the playoffs. So he stuck with signing with Boston for $6 million. I guess it's a fine signing because Dennis Schroeder's still not terrible, and you're getting him for $6 million. I like that signing. Okay, Spencer Dinwiddie will be joining the Wizards on a 3-year, $62 million deal. I like this signing for the Wizards. I do question it, though, because the Wizards are in a tanking position. I'm not sure why they would go for it's $20.6 million, so almost $21 million. The Wizards are in a tanking position. I'm not really sure why they would try to get better. I mean, with Bradley Beal, they've been bad in the past, and with this team, it looks like they're going to be pretty bad. So I don't know why they use their money on Spencer Dinwiddie, especially for a 3-year deal, when they could have tanked, got a high pick, and maybe used some of that cap when they were looking to acquire a star. But I mean, the actual signing itself is pretty good. Spencer Dinwiddie's a great player, coming off an ACL injury, 3 years. I just don't know if the fit is good. That's all. Kemba Walker to the New York Knicks, $8 million a year. I think this is $2 million, but it could potentially, 2 years, but it could potentially be 1 year. Not fully sure. But I like this signing for the Knicks. Kemba Walker was traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder, and he didn't like it there, so he requested a buyout, got a buyout, signed with the Knicks for a small amount of money. The Knicks are looking really good next year. Now, you guys saw my top 10 teams to win it all. I had the Knicks at 10. And adding Kemba Walker, though he did have a down year, it's going to be good for the New York Knicks. He's going to help them shoot. He'll be their playmaker. And I like this signing because $8 million for a guy of Kemba's caliber is really good. And our final signing, don't think I forgot about it. I don't know if this is the biggest signing this year because Lowry won, Lonzo. Arguably the biggest signing, DeMar DeRozan will be joining the Chicago Bulls on a 3 years, $85 million deal. That is $28.3 million. Now, DeRozan is starting regression. He probably will be in the next year now, if not next year or the year after. But still, this puts the Bulls in a good position to maybe go all the way. I made a video about how good will the Bulls be, but they get DeRozan. He's a great finisher. He's even turning kind of into a point forward where he likes bringing the ball up now. He's even starting to get more comfortable passing. And I like this signing for the Bulls. The Bulls, like I said, had a lot of cap, and they put it to good use. Unlike some other teams like the Knicks who spent so much on Fournier, the Bulls put it to good use, and I think the Bulls are going to be really good next year, and DeRozan will help them out. That's going to wrap up my video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed my free agency review part 2, the signings. I'll put a link in the description on part 1. I don't have a playlist, I'll just put part 1 in the description. But that's going to wrap up my video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.